So in this live stream, I want to talk about how I feel really trapped in my life in terms of, I guess, making a progress financially, right? You know, I'm really glad that I have a job right now. I have a full-time job. But obviously I'm not too happy with how much I'm making. So last night I woke up just in the middle of the night, like around 3:30. For some reason I just woke up and I could not fall back asleep. And then somehow this thought dawned on me, thinking, man, like, where am I gonna be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? I mean, obviously it's always in the back of my mind whether or not I'm going to survive this cancer. But right now, I guess that thought about cancer has been, I don't know, subsiding and fading. It's weird, right? When I first got diagnosed with cancer, obviously it was shocking, and that thought was what pretty much preoccupied my mind throughout the whole day, but not anymore. I feel like I might have a good chance of surviving it. Then I'm already thinking about like my future. It's ironic, right? I'm dealing with cancer, but somehow I'm already thinking ahead of my future and where I'm gonna be in the next 5-10 years, and specifically financially, right? So as you may have known, or many of you know, I'm 39 right now, and I still live with my parents. And I don't want to disclose too much about my financial situation, but my take-home pay is around like $3,500 a month. And I live in California, so $3,500 a month, that's not much, right? So going back to like when I woke up in the middle of the night last night, I don't know, for some reason I started to obsess over like this, thinking about where I'm gonna be financially in the next 5 or 10 years. Am I going to have a house? Am I going to be able to move out of my parents' house, right? And I start to look up how much the rent price is around the area, right, where I'm at. And 1-bedroom apartment in my area in SoCal is around $2,000-$2,100, like anywhere from like $1,900 to like $2,500 a month for a measly 1-bedroom apartment, right? And those, like, I guess the range that falls under like 2,000, those are like tiny apartments, right? So you can't hardly call it 1-bedroom apartment. And as I said, my take-home pay is around $3,500. So if I were to move out right now and get my own apartment, I'll have to pay more than half of my paycheck towards the rent. And if I remember correctly, the recommended percentage of how much you're supposed to pay for rent out of your take-home pay should be around like up to 30% of your income. So if I pay anywhere over that 30%, if I spend like anywhere more than 30% of my income, that means I'm overspending on my rent. So it wouldn't make sense for me to move out and spend more than half my paycheck so that I could have my own place to live. And that's quite wild, right? And the thing is that, I don't know, I start to feel really bitter and really negative last night. Like, how is it fair for someone working full time to not be able to afford rent, like 1-bedroom apartment rent? And I'm not even looking for a luxury apartment. It's just any 1-bedroom apartment, right? Any 1-bedroom apartment. And that any 1-bedroom apartment I still cannot afford while working full time. And some people may say, oh, like, you should just get another job. Like, you have an income problem. But it's not really so easy to get another job that will be higher paying. Like, the job I have right now, I feel like that it's a job I feel like I am capable of doing. But if I were to, like, get a job that's higher paying, I would probably have to work in maybe engineering field, or I don't know, biotech field, medical field. And I already tried engineering and I failed miserably. I freaking hated it. At one point I wanted to get into software engineering, and I took some CS classes and I did fairly okay. But I just could not tolerate the stress you would get, like, while you're trying to learn new stuff every day and you're constantly hitting that wall, right? And I just couldn't deal with it anymore. When I was studying computer science, I was constantly feeling suicidal, like, no joke. So, like, what do I even do? I mean, my income is not going to increase, like, drastically at all. If anything, my company might give, like, another 3% raise for everyone at my company, but I don't know. I'm not even sure if that's going to happen, right? So, I cannot afford buying a house. I cannot afford rent. So what do? Like, do I move out of the state? And some people may say, yeah, like, move out of state. Like, you're living in the wrong state. And I think that's partly true. California is very, very expensive. It's very pricey, right? And a lot of people are getting priced out too, and they are moving out of state. And last time I checked, yeah, they actually had more people move out of California than people coming in for the first time in a while. Which indicates that, yeah, people are moving out of California more than ever. And I'm pretty sure the main reason why they're moving out is because they cannot afford living here anymore. So, but, like, again, like, why is it that, how is it fair that someone working full time is unable to afford rent here? Okay, and even, okay, like, 1-bedroom, if I cannot afford 1-bedroom, okay, like, I'm willing to look at, like, consider a studio, right? Studio, do you know how much studio is? $1,700 a month for a freaking studio. Can you believe it? And again, it's not a luxurious studio either. It's pretty run down, like, studio apartment. And the thing about rent is that, yeah, every year it's going to go up. And most likely it's going to go up at least $100 per year, if not 200, if not 300. So my salary, my income cannot keep up with how fast the rent increases, right? So no matter how hard I feel like no matter how hard I may work and how much how much effort I put into my work, and in my life, I feel like I keep falling behind because I just cannot keep up with how fast the rent is increasing. And it's like I'm going deeper and deeper into the hole, pretty much, right? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this, my struggle, my situation, right? A lot of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And I still owe some money, like over $20,000 on my student loans. And I still owe some money on my car. Luckily, I was finally able to pay off my credit card after I got my job, which I'm really, really, really proud. So, I mean, for sure, I was in a much worse situation maybe like 2 years ago before I got this job. And I think I have made some progress in my life financially, but still, I feel like I just don't really see the way out here. And every day I feel like I'm just falling behind. And obviously that leads to a lot of resentment, bitterness, cynicism. And now I feel like I might actually have to get another job, at least like part-time, just to like get even, pretty much, I feel like. Just to get even with this life. Just to keep up, to barely keep up and survive. And even to rent a room, they now like expect you to pay at least $1,000. $1,000. This is ridiculous. Like many years ago, studio. I remember a time like when studio was like $800,000, but it almost doubled now, right? I don't know. I really don't know like where my life is headed to in terms of finances, and I just don't really know.